and his new digs in BK. Chef Curry served up 37 points in 29 minutes, knocking down 9 of his team's 13 threes as the Warriors beat the Nets by 18 points. Curry has now made 399 threes in 2021, the most in a calendar year in NBA history, passing who? James Harden from 2019. KD, how special is Steph?
I mean, he's a master at what he does. I've been saying that since, he came into the league, just a crafty player that can pretty much do anything off the ball. A player like that playing at All-Star, MVP, Hall of Fame level, you got to respect it.
Now that sounds like a defeated man. Tim Legler joining us now. Leg, so good to have you with us. We'll get to you in just a second. Stephen A., should KD regret leaving Golden State for Brooklyn officially?
Without question. Without question. He should have left. If you're going to leave the Oracle and you're going to leave a first-class organization like the Golden State Warriors, you leave it for a brand like the New York Knicks. You leave it for a franchise that has a fan base that cares about them, that considers them relevant, that ain't going to be chanting for somebody that they the MVP just minutes into the game, that show up to root for the other team and not you. You understand? That's the kind of stuff that used to happen in Atlanta. Tim Legler knows this. Used to happen in Atlanta because everybody was migrating to the city of Atlanta. And so the fan base was all over the place because you had people from New York, Detroit, and various other places throughout the country that went to Atlanta to live. So it made sense for them. That ain't the case across this river right here in Brooklyn, New York. These people in Brooklyn from Brooklyn. You understand? You've been there. All of a sudden, you just root for somebody else when you got a guy like KD, Tim, that's averaging 28.9 points a game. This is one reason why KD should regret it. This is another reason why KD should regret it. The only reason he's in Brooklyn because he wanted to play with Kyrie. The only reason he's in Brooklyn is because Kyrie Irving convinced him to go there. And Kyrie has betrayed him, left him hanging. Left the organization hanging. We can bring up stuff about the vaccine all we want to, okay? Let me tell you why, Tim Legler, and I'm only saying this to Tim because I know Swagoo is still there, but I'm saying it to you because we haven't had this conversation, Tim. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Kyrie Irving was gone for 10 months. Remember, he got injured before the pandemic. Was out in the bubble play. He was trying to discourage dudes not to play in the bubble, even though he wasn't going to play because he was still injured. As a vice president, who didn't even communicate with the president at the time, which was Chris Paul, comes back in December, 10 months later, and 2 weeks in, he took time off. He needed a break because of the riots at the U.S. Capitol. Swagoo, you work at the riots?
Yep, I worked.
Molly, did you work after the riots?
Yeah.
I mean, I worked at the riots. How about you, Tim? Tim, like, did you show up to work after the riots at the U.S. Capitol?
I sure did.
But Kyrie need a break. But Kyrie need a break. Kyrie need a break. Each and every single time he thinks about himself. And he left his boy hanging. KD came to Brooklyn because of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has betrayed KD. He has betrayed basketball fans with his continual excuses for absence. He has betrayed his teammates. He's betrayed the NBA game because he is a superstar, a showstopper, must-see television, must-see in person. He's that much of a genius as a basketball player. He don't give a damn about none of that. We're beneath him. He's here. The rest of us are there. We're not on his level. We can't think like him. And as a result, KD is left hanging. That is why KD should regret going for Brooklyn. If I'm KD, and I don't mean this any knock against Sean Marks, Joe Tsai, the great owner for the Brooklyn Nets, good man, Sean Marks, Steve Nash, I wouldn't blame KD if KD asked to be traded at the end of the season. I think he should ask to be traded. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, listen, you eloquently described why Kevin Durant made a wrong decision in pairing up with Kyrie Irving, okay, ending up in Brooklyn with him. He can regret that, but here's why I don't necessarily think Kevin Durant regrets leaving Golden State. And I go back to that second championship, 2018. I will never forget closing out that series in a sweep against the Cleveland Cavaliers in a series in which they won by an average of 15 points a game in the finals. And in the closeout game, Steph Curry goes for 37 points, much like he did last night, actually. And Kevin Durant did his thing. I think he had a triple-double in that game. But all I kept looking at and thinking, Steve and I, was this dude is not having any fun. Even though they won, he didn't feel like this is how I want to win. So he went there for a specific reason. He loved his style. He wanted to add rings. He got those rings. But by the end of that second year, Kevin Durant did not look like he was enjoying how he was winning. He didn't feel like, I believe, he was getting enough credit, even though he was Finals MVP twice, for that being his deal, because Steph Curry had already turned that into something special before he got there. So we want to tell players all the time, the only thing that's supposed to matter is winning. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's just not true. It's not just winning. It's how you win, who you win with, where you are, how much money you get. All that stuff does matter too. And I think for Kevin Durant, checking off that box, man, I got my rings. He now wanted to go do it a different way. He wanted to go to a place where it could be his story, his train. He drove it there. He created it from the ground up. Regardless of the fact that he could be playing with two Hall of Famers, it was going to be Kevin Durant's deal. When he went to Golden State, that wasn't the case. And I just didn't feel like it was fulfilling to Kevin Durant by the time he left. And that is why I do not believe he loses any sleep over leaving the Golden State Warriors.
Stephen A., I understand the history and the things that you say regarding Kyrie Irving and talking about, in this particular situation, talking about Kevin Durant. Now, I cannot say it without the caveat of all of the extenuating circumstances of why he's not available. The city of New York, the mandate, he don't want to get the vaccine. I get it. That's why he's not available. But two things can be true in this situation. And I understand what you're saying about the commitment that you make to the guys that you plan to go to war with on the basketball court. And you got to determine, that's for Kyrie to determine whether getting vaccinated or not getting vaccinated is more important than showing up for KD and James Harden. Now, where your vitriol comes from, I understand that. Because if I'm in a locker room or if I'm in cahoots with a player or a teammate, and we had this grand plan to do something great, and I got vaccinated, James Harden is vaccinated, and we're okay and we're fine and we're performing and we're out here trying to win, irregardless of Kyrie Irving staying, he should be able to have a relationship, or he should feel the relationship is enough. Look, I'm projecting. I'm not Kyrie Irving, but he should have enough of a relationship with Kevin Durant and James Harden to say, yo, I know y'all took the vaccine. Y'all able to hoop. I'm going to do that for y'all. I see nothing is going on with you guys. Okay, that's fine if that conversation materialized. When you go strictly to basketball, I am 100% on board with you. Man, listen, if you tell me to come somewhere and situations change that we can't control, and we can control something about the situation in order for us to be available, I would be pissed off. I would be pissed off. If I'm KD, I would say, Kyrie, I got vaccinated, bro.
Okay.
I did this for us.
Right.
I got you.
Now, let me come back at you, because both of y'all are former professional athletes.
Yep.
So I'm deferring to both of y'all here, Tim and Marcus. I'm going to win y'all over right now. I'm going to regurgitate a comment, but I'm going to emphasize it, and it's going to win you over. Forget the mandate in New York for a second. Before there was ever a mandate, what did I point to? The U.S. Capitol riots took place, and he wanted off then. So what I'm saying is, remember, KD was gone. KD had been gone for 18 months because of the Achilles tear. Mm-hmm. He comes back. You would think, you on the court with him, Tim, work with me here. That's less pressure, less onus on the shoulders of KD because you out there with him. Did you care? Not at all. You looked out for you. This is who Kyrie has been. Everybody wants to sit up there and say, oh, Stephen A., the vaccine, it's putting something in his body. Stop it. That's not where I'm going. I'm not saying that. I was hesitant to take the vaccine. I got that. And if that's your position and you've been consistent with it, we good. The problem is, Tim, you know this. You do a great job with SiriusXM Radio. You're talking to NBA all the time. You've been covering the NBA for decades. You know this. Tell me how many times we have sat here outside of injury and talked about games Kyrie Irving just took off for inexplicable reasons. You ain't notified a coach. You players found out later. Cats ain't speak. Cats didn't get in contact with you. This is Kyrie Irving. He sold them out. He sold them out. And Kevin Durant, of all people, who this brother has gone to the club in the past with sneakers. So he wants the ball all day, every day.
Yeah.
You convinced him to come to Brooklyn, and you left him hanging. But nobody wants to talk about that. And I'll tell you right now, Katie, and I ain't never said this, ever, because you know how I am, Tim. I'm very protective of brothers getting their paper. I want brothers to get paid. I ain't apologizing for it to a damn soul. Kyrie Irving, give that brother $70 million a year. He's that much of a talent. That man does not deserve anything past 1-year deals at a time. He cannot be trusted. He will take your money and he will not show up to work until he wants to. That is not a man you can invest in long term. That's right, I said it. Floor is y'all's.
Hey, listen, to both your points, and Marcus, I think you'd agree with this. Throughout my career, or my entire life in basketball, if somebody asked me a question, who do you play for? Right? I can tell you this right now, what's not popping in my head. It's not popping in my head, honestly. The name across the front of the jersey, it's not the owner of the team. It's to some extent the coach. It's not my family. It's not the fans. It's not the media. Who I played for and where I took my most serious accountability was always to the guys that were sitting next to me in the locker room, because that was always my approach. I do not want to let them down. They have to be able to trust me and count on me, right? That's the thing that really every day motivated you, because there's nothing more special to being part of a group of guys that are going out there pulling in the same direction, especially going out into a road arena, hostile environment, us against the world, and that feeling of brotherhood that you have. That's the one thing I miss more than anything else of not being an athlete anymore. And so to both of your points, you're 100% right. Stephen A., there's nothing I would disagree with on everything you just laid out about Kyrie Irving. Nothing. My point originally was about KD now finding himself in this situation is probably like, you got to be kidding me right now. There's no question he's thinking that, but I still think when he left Golden State with a clear mind that I did what I needed to do there. It wasn't as fulfilling by the time it ended. I'm looking for something else. Now look, this isn't what he anticipated, so maybe there's going to be something else he's going to be looking for. But I don't think really he regrets leaving. He regrets the way this situation has played out. And I think those are two different things.
That is two different things. You're right.
Absolutely. And I just want to say it one more time because I can't let Kyrie overshadow